Hello, myself Sunil R Nair, and here basically we are discussing about the topic that is currency basically, and this is directly connected with the earthquake, and how basically this is going to connect with the earthquake, that also you will say. So here basically the point is basically in this basically we are discussing about the incidents basically. What are the incidents basically going to happen? For example, one person told they are. Can we have the list of the each and every factories, each and every software companies, each and every creation things basically? Then he told that basically because each and every creation basically is happening, that incidence is 100% going to happen. And like this basically the government has created more than 3 lakh incidents basically, right? Then he told that yes basically that is already created basically. So the creator basically says that basically these all are the maximum thing basically which is going to happen, and this basically is must basically. It's a universe law basically. It's a universe law basically, which the things basically which is created that has to represent in front of the public also basically. And that also basically has to generate the energy also. For that basically certain level of experts basically are also there. The experts basically like Bollywood groups are there, the theater groups are there. Theater and Bollywood group both are totally different basically. First theater was there, after that the Bollywood has created. Hollywood groups are there. Like this basically each and every incidents basically are designed actually. And that is very dangerous actually. And basically the groups and one person told that basically theater doctor also basically might be there. 100% basically. Theater doctor basically 100% might be there. Because the tomato is going to generate this type of energies basically, right? And it is going to affect which body parts. That also basically they design here basically. That also basically they say designs in the form of incidents. So that is actually very dangerous actually. That is actually very dangerous. One person told that basically whenever the cricket match happens, that person always eat dragon food. Then he told that basically, then basically one of the person basically start doing the competitor, basically the competitor of that particular cricketer started basically tracking, because he basically knows each and everything. So he basically started tracking basically. Let me see basically what are the things basically happened in the form of incidents basically when dragon food basically was created. And that connects to one of the sports incidents also basically. So he studied that incidents basically of the sports basically. What are the things basically happened in the sports industry basically that day when the dragon food was basically getting created. So just see basically each and every schedule basically how it's planned. That's why basically the leaders are there. That's why the project managers are there. That's why the coordinators are basically there. That's why for example in this ground basically this match is going to happen. That basically is planned only, right? Reason, that time basically the match was that time basically there was no match basically was happening. That time basically there was no match happening. That's why basically that match was basically happened. Otherwise basically match is going to happen. No, basically that time basically the match was not going to happen. That time basically the match was not going to happen. That time basically the match was not going to happen. If that ground basically is blank means basically nothing is basically happening there. That's why basically the match has happened. That means it was scheduled basically. So for example that time basically when dragon food was basically getting prepared, that time in this basically area basically the match was happening. So that match was actually the strength of that person basically whenever he eats the dragon food. Whenever he basically goes into the cricket basically, these all are basically the strength basically and on the base of that strength basically he is basically playing the cricket. And basically he, whenever he eats the dragon food, he always hits 150 whatever run basically. Reason? The strength basically. When he was eating the dragon food, that time when the dragon food was basically generated, that time the sports activity, sports incidents basically was happened. That's why. So just see basically how deeply the things basically are connected. Very deeply basically. Not deeply basically, but very deeply the things basically are connected. Very deeply the things basically are connected. Very deeply the things basically are connected. So just see basically up to what level the things is going to be. The things basically which is going to be. So he told that basically, do we have the list of each and every theaters also, and the mostly theaters only handles the entire Bollywood. That basically everybody knows. So do we have the list of theaters basically who basically has created each and every incidents for the each and every human needs? Then he told that basically the software company basically might be having of the theater group also basically. Then he told that basically yes, yeah, we need to keep this basically, because this everything basically nuclear company always keeps each and every incident basically whatever things happens in the any area basically. If one incident basically happened in the bed also basically, that incidents also basically they keep, yeah. For example, in bed basically somebody damaged his leg, that up to that level energy information they keeps. They basically literally track that basically from this area basically his leg was broken. Up to that level basically information they gives. Because one day it might possible basically that some of the satellite group basically ask how his leg was basically broken, how his head was broken. So that thing basically they will ask here basically one day. That's why basically. So they have to keep the answer basically. That's why basically. That's why basically the nuclear power company always keeps each and every small incidents also. Each and every small incidents also. So here it's a big level incidents, no, basically. It's a human need creation incidents basically happening. And each and every human needs basically are taken by taken by the 190 crore people, yeah, basically. So that's why basically the each and every incident, this type of incidents basically the 100% basically might be having theater groups basically. Because display parties of theater groups, energy basically parties of political people basically. That this thing should be here. That basically is the task of the Bollywood group basically. The action parties of the political groups and controlling political groups. There basically police comes, bad people comes, and lots of people basically comes there. It's not like that basically the things is happening automatically. So each and everything basically are designed, and that all basically are designed in the form of incidents. That all are basically designed in the form of incidents. So here basically we were talking about currencies basically which is 100% going to affect to earthquakes. So this whole thing basically are incidents, right? Basically whenever it's going to generate to the environment basically, that 100% it's going to affect something, no, basically. It might not possible that basically one matrix is not going to connect to other matrix. It's going to connect, and there basically the conflict is 100% going to happen. So what are those conflicts? Each and everything basically we are going to discuss. So first we are discussing about incidents basically. How many incidents basically are created in this India country and in this world basically. In next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about this.